Hey guys, Jen Graves here. So, just doing a video for y'all. That was really close. On the wrappings that I do. I'm going to show y'all some of the different ones that I use. Different stuff like that. Kind of what it is. So, I think I have one of them somewhere. Give me 1 second. I do not. All the ones that I have that are the small ones are actually already wrapped. So I don't have one that I can just pull out and show y'all exactly, but I can show y'all the rest of it. So the first ones I use are these right here. I hope this isn't like backwards for y'all. Although maybe, is it? Do I need a mirror to reflect it back? But I use this size with the guy on it. This is just your standard manga size bag, so anything like small like this one, Sister New Devil, or one of the Kitaro volumes, you can get one of those. That's all it is, and it's pretty good. It's got about an inch flap. I usually just take the front of the book where that flap is, and that way when I curl it over, it's on the back. Kind of pop the edges, because sometimes they get stuck. So I usually take my books like that. These ones that go over a little bit are pretty good. I like those, because you have kind of a lip to it where it'll go over. And then you just do that right there. So, and then usually what I do is I'll take this corner right here on the side where the cover is, and I'll fold it forward just like that and tape it down, and then tape the corners down and stuff on all the sides. And then up here on the top, you kind of got to play with it a little bit and tape it down, everything going forward. And then I'll do one line of tape right here along the lip of it. So I don't really get a problem with these too much, as far as because they're standard size. But when I have like a smaller book series, that's probably a bad one to show y'all with. Let's see if I got any small ones to begin with. Maybe, well, here's a good one. I have a gin. And this is one that actually does, it's a pain in the butt a little bit. When you get it in there, slides down, and I don't know if y'all can see it right there. That's the edge of it right there. And so with this, kind of got to fold it down, and then fold this over. That way you get a nice crisp thing. For that, it's really good. My hair doesn't look so bad today. I took a shower not too long ago. But we do have, this is one that I've already done. So it's all slick right there. I folded it over, and then all the sides are taped down and everything. It's taped all the way on the back. That way, like, nothing can get into this. I would say maybe water could, but it would have to be totally submerged in water for a while for it to get in the creases and everything. All that stuff. So that's really the first one that I use. I did send the link to somebody, but all these are by BCW. They're a kind of like gaming comic book type of people. So that's the first one I use. They have some other ones. I've only done 2 of them so far, because the other ones I have to get are like huge magazine size for like Shonen Jump magazine, something like that. Everything else though usually fits in that one or this other one I have. These are the 7 by 10.5. It's the comic book ones. These are the ones that I usually wrap, like when y'all saw me wrap the other ones the other day. This one, I just put one piece of tape on it. It's basically sealed on the top and the bottom. I just need to take it and do the fold over right there, and then fold all the sides and stuff and tape it down. You know, that way it would look kind of crisp like that. So that's really the two that I use right now. I know I'm going to have to move up to a bigger size, especially for like the Akira books. The Akira books are just huge. And then for my omnibus books, I am probably going to have to get another one for those. You know, hopefully those are about the same size with that, so I'm not buying like a holy crap-oly ton of different books and stuff, or book covers. They are pretty cheap, but it's cheaper when you buy it in a bigger quantity. So BCW also has, I'll show you this. This is another one that I use. It's a box. You get it, and it's pretty good. I use it for my ones that are bigger, thicker than your standard one, like this one, or like you guys know, Tokyo Ghoul. You know, there's some other one. You can kind of see how much lip you have on that, which that's probably why the air gets caught in these ones a lot more, is because there's so much extra room in the bag. That's why I told you, you know, you take a pocket knife or toothpick, anything with just a little point on it, even like a needle. You just poke a side of it. I usually poke the side that I'm going to flip over towards the top or the very bottom. That way when I flip it over, that's covering up the hole, and then I put tape over it, so that's covering up the hole. You know, it'll make it secure and everything. So that's both the sizes that I use right now. Before I know I'm going to have to get a bigger one. Hopefully, though, I won't have to here shortly. I know I'm almost out of these. I bought, there's 100 in this pack, and I think I've already went through, I think, 3.5. So I have this one and another one. So I have about 150 left. I do need to get some more, and that's kind of the boxes. I haven't done those yet. That's why all mine were in the little brown Ride Stuff boxes. When I moved them, they're all in those boxes together, basically because I know that they're kind of protected in there somehow, and for right now I can just store them in there, put a piece of tape over the box and hold it in. I really want it like the box that I have over here. Give me a second to grab it, and it will be a little heavy because I've already filled these up. I have 2 of them filled up right now, but they are BCW boxes too. You'll see the logo on it. So this is like your standard comic book one. You know, you can get it. So with that one though, it leaves me a little room in the sides, so I can take like this book and go all the way forward with it, and then I'll have enough room over here on the side to maybe put 2 or 3 more like that, you know, down the side a little ways. So that's the really cool part. They actually hold more. I have 5 of those, but those are from my like local comic book store. That's also where I got these ones. So pretty good, but you can get them from BCW. I mean, they're the same ones. It was just cheaper for me to get them there with the time constraint that I needed to try and figure out what sizes I need. I actually bought a couple different bags from them, and they gave me another one that I think there's a thing on this somewhere. This just says for a thick comic, modern or current. print. They have they call it Golden Age or Silver Age, which is like older comic books. They have that, and they gave me one of those, but they're more opaque, not as clear. And I didn't want that, so I just kind of stuck with this. My brother collects comics though, so I gave him that set, just so he could use those. We use different stuff, so I've been buying him some comic books from the flea market where we do kettle corn on Saturdays. Me and my mom, and getting a really good price. Some of them aren't bagged up though, so I usually get him some, and then I gave him those so he could go back and actually put his in there. That way he wouldn't have to worry about that. So I still don't think he's used them all up. I mean, I haven't used all these up, and I think I bought 2 packs of these, maybe. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But I mean, all these are pretty good. With both of these, I think you can wrap your standard manga collection with the standard size being just the manga one, and your a little bit bigger, Tokyo Ghoul, stuff like that. Anything that's kind of a weirder shape, like those, a little bit thicker. I have had ones that are the standard size as far as tall and as wide as they are, but the width of the book will be like that. And those ones are pretty good for that too. You just have to do more folds and tape it up and stuff. So there's a little bit of practice with some of it. Some of it does take a little while longer, especially if you want it to look sleek and everything. But I mean, they look really good when you get done with them. There's not that much complaint with that. And I feel good because all my books that are at the storage room are all wrapped up in everything, so I don't have to really worry about bugs or anything like that really getting into them, or anything else as far as the paper getting bad, with the book being so compressed and whatnot. In that, as tight as I wrap them, you don't really have to worry about that. So it's pretty cool. But like the boxes that I showed you, I want to get those. They have manga size ones that are kind of, I guess they're more square, so yeah, I mean, they're more square, where you can put manga in just solid, straight across, laying down with the spine facing up, like if you were going to put them in a shoebox kind of. And those ones are, you could put about 30 in them. So I was like, well, I probably need to get about 10. I can put 300 volumes in there. That's at least a little chip into the collection for doing that. But shelves are really what kills me in that department. So that's why a little while ago I kind of had the talk about if y'all thought that I should move everything back to my house and get shelves again, like bookshelves and stuff, even though I really don't have room for that, especially after I added a couch and some tables and stuff in this room. Without that, maybe I could put more shelves in here and do that. But as far as that goes, so that's kind of why I got the storage room. It might be a little different. Like I said, it's kind of one of the other struggles that I'm kind of having with getting prepared to do a collection video for y'all, because I don't want to get to the point of where, I cut all the boxes open and stuff, and, retaping them is not really that big of a problem, but pulling the boxes out and then taping it, especially like I already told y'all in one of the other videos, of how I don't really edit anything or change it, so we'd have a lot of time just from pulling out the boxes and all that. So not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe I can find a quicker way, because everything is it's on its side, it's not laying down. So maybe I could just pull the box out and have it open, you know, and flip it open and say, hey, this is da da da. But there's not an order to it right now either. That's the other one. Especially with some of the smaller boxes that I have. Those are kind of stacked in there sideways, just to get more space out of the little Right Stuff boxes. So, but yeah, cool stuff. I hope that was really informative for y'all. You know, that I use the BCW sleeves and stuff. They are very cheap. I think they have different ones that subtract it off. So I think it starts out like you can get one set of sleeves for like $5. But then if you buy 5, they drop it down to like $3 and something. They do about the, I guess, like almost halfway point between, you know, well, not halfway, but about 2/3 way, about 3.50 for one. So that's kind of a $1.50 drop, and then it actually drops down about another dollar if you do 10 or more. And so, you know, you're buying that many for like $2 and something, and then shipping costs. So it is a pretty good deal to get these, especially with your standard manga. You know, you could go ahead and throw a big one in there if you have any of those manga to wrap in too. And you know, I use the tape that I use is just this transparent Scotch tape. This is the one I always try and get at the store because of the whole thing. Like I said, the transparency of it. We've gotten the green one, that is the green Scotch tape, where it's transparent, but it's actually a lot darker than this one. And I hated that one because you could actually tell that there was tape on it, like in depth. So if I had to use a bunch of tape to do it, you'd be able to tell everywhere I taped. It would, that many layers would start covering up like words and stuff on the book. The top of the spine, you couldn't see through it. You know, there was a lot of different things that happened with that, even though some of the pricing with those, well, the pricing on that was actually worse. I actually ended up buying like 40 things of double tape like that because they were having a school sale the last time. So at the beginning of the year, kind of, you know, and then I took a break from wrapping stuff so I could do different challenges and things like that. But I mean, they're all really good stuff. I enjoy doing it, and some other stuff. So, and then, I mean, y'all might have seen, I showed y'all different books, different ways. So I would recommend that you do it this way, because if not, I feel like you burn yourself out faster doing it. So you don't want to get a book and put it in the bag and tape it down and fold it and fold it and fold it, fold it, and then turn it into our pristine, you know, covers and everything. You don't want to do that. So actually how I do it is I'll take all of them and I'll just put the one piece of tape on it. So it's kind of, you know, you got fins and stuff on all 4 sides. So we have that. And then my second step is I might do like 50 books, just taping the back. Sometimes I do more. Sometimes, like, the first step really to it is just sliding them in the sleeves. That's why my Tokyo Ghoul ones are open like that, because it takes a lot of time. You could spend 30 minutes sliding a bunch of books into sleeves, especially making sure they're all popped open or fixing the corners or something like that. And then go back and put one piece of tape, pull this as tight as you can and put one piece of tape there. That's kind of your first thing with these bigger ones too, just pushing some of the air out when you do it. You're always going to have air in there, so there's no real way of getting around that without putting the little prick on it. But yeah, and then Second step, I always do this where I tape it down, and at least do that. You don't really have to do the sides or anything yet. That's something totally else. So I'll do that, depending on what mood I am in. I'll do that, and I'll do the bottom parts because that's going to be your two easiest, and that will just leave kind of my top part up here like that. Everything else will be wrapped up. And I thought I had one of those sitting somewhere. I don't think I do though. Do that because the top part is going to be the one that takes the longest, and once you get down to that, it actually goes quicker because you're doing the same action over and over and over and over and over again. So that's kind of the method behind the madness, is doing the same actions that you're doing for every book over and over and over again, and doing 20 to 50 volumes, wrapping however you do it, and then going back and doing the next part, because then your brain actually flips to trying to do that. And I've caught myself sometimes doing the first and the second one together, and then doing the second or the third one together, something like that. And you have to just kind of work around doing that. Sometimes I'll in the middle of those 20, 50 books, I'll find myself wrapping one all the way to completion where it's pristine, and setting it aside, and then I'm like, oh crap, I just did, let me go back and do everything else, and it kind of helps you out just having those kind of phases with doing stuff, and it's really easy to do that, especially when you kind of have to do like the assembly line thing, you know. So this also, I've had somebody else tell me that it doesn't really work, but I'd just say it does. With manga, guys, it's like any other book. You have two things that affect manga to turn them yellow. The first one is sunlight. It's going to do it. It's going to heat up. I've left one of my books in the car for like an hour, and the cover and everything will actually start bending a certain way, because if it's one, not these ones, because these ones don't really have it, but if it's one with the shiny cover on it, this is kind of a little plastic film that they put over your manga, and it'll actually start tightening up where the cover will start doing this. So if you ever see anybody have one in the car, their manga usually looks something like that almost, because it folds out the sides. Whichever side is on the top, it'll start doing it just a little bit. And after it does that, it's kind of harder for you to do anything with your manga that way. Usually I put a stack of books on it to kind of push it back out. So pressure works a little bit. So, heat affects your books, different stuff. So with these, I don't really have to worry about that. But the other thing is, besides the sun that affects different things on your manga, loosening up the glue on the spine and everything else, the other thing that it does is, even though we've treated our trees and stuff with herbicides and pesticides so that nothing happens, even on just our paper, to make sure that bugs don't really eat it, bugs are still going to be attracted to it or something like that, or any little thing. I've found a moth, that we had, just little, I don't know what they're called, little bitty moth, and it was laying on the top. I keep mine kind of in a locked room. Well, the door's shut, so not really anything can come in there and mess with anything, but other things can happen that way. That's why you want to kind of keep them in a cool area too, or at least warm, that away, because if it's too hot, they'll bend and everything, from that. But the other thing, back to that, if you've seen old books that you've gotten from libraries or anything like that, like the really old books that were probably printed in the 1960s, 1970s, anything where it's kind of the not vinyl, but where it's almost looks like the book is sewn, something like that. Those ones are really old. Probably dictionaries and stuff were made out of those back in the day. If you have those though, those ones are always basically yellow or have some kind of yellow tinge or anything to it. And the reason why that is because no matter how much we treat our wood or anything on our pages, you're always going to get something that might not have been treated a certain way, or there was a batch that had more of something, but the test of time is always going to be there. And so part of it is the oxygen in the air will actually get into it, kind of like your carbon footprint, different things like that. As we age, our body takes on more and more carbon, and so people can actually carbon date. That's how we kind of know how old dinosaur bones are, or fossils, different stuff like that. That's how carbon dating works. Same idea goes into your manga. On your pages and stuff, it's not so much the carbon, it's the oxidization. And the oxygen actually sits there and has, different stuff in it. Just not oxygen like the element oxygen that's all around us right now. Oxygen will actually touch your books in different places and whatnot, especially the spines that are exposed all the time. The inside of the book, maybe not so much. But that's why some of them turn yellow that way, is because of the oxidization. And I mean, librarians, if any of y'all are librarians, of my subscribers and stuff, or if you go to the library or anything, you can see that a lot of old books are yellow, not because of sunlight or anything like that, because they can be in a dark room. They're yellow because of the oxidization. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into some things. Some newer ones I have over sitting by a window too. Some of my older ones, and some of them have already been yellowed, at least on the corners and stuff, or on the outside of the book. Not so much on the cover, but the not the spine either. The opposite, the pages, top, bottom, and the side. Those ones have done it, but none of the other ones that are new have really done it. So the sun does play a role in some of it, but I have they're not blackout curtains, but they're real thick material, so the sun kind of gets through it a little bit, but not too much. Most of my books are actually protected, I guess, that way somehow. And besides the blinds that I have up on there too, but the sun can't really get through enough to do anything, and the room doesn't get super hot for it to affect any of the books. So that's a really good thing. But the oxidization of it, there's ones that have been in my closet and stuff that have been in a dark atmosphere and all that other stuff, and have started turning yellow because of that. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into manga care. I guess not a lot of people think about it that way. It's not too of a big deal, really. I wouldn't really worry about it too much, but you can kind of see the test of time, especially with bigger series. I know Bleach that has white spines. You can look at the first ones if you have those, from if you've been collecting it all the way up to volume 73 that's currently out. And the spines will be a little darker or a little lighter as you go on, because of that's more so from sunlight and stuff, depending on how it changed. So like I said, though, there's a lot of different things that go into manga care, and especially trying to protect your manga in a certain way. If you've seen Shin Megami, he uses another kind of sleeve that's really good. I would say, those ones that are more meant for your shelves, basically, because you can still open up your manga and all that. Those ones are really good. I really want to get some of those too. But it would most likely be on my favorite shelf, and part of those are already wrapped, so I don't know if it would look too good or if it would look bad from me doing that. I'd just have to check it out and see. But that actually goes on and protects your manga too, and gives you, I've seen it, gives you a little lip on it for pulling them out. So that's another really cool thing, so you can't really stack stuff on the top of it, but it's really easy for you to get them and pull them out. So really cool. He's got a video on that if you can go see it, or if you want to see, he's got another random rants one, which is kind of where I got this idea from. So that's probably what this one will be, even though we focused mostly on like manga care. Actually, I might just make this into a manga talk video, manga care. But Shin Megami, that's who I kind of got the rants thing from. And I had another person ask me, if you see the comments about it, there's a link in there somewhere for the BCW stuff because they wanted that. But this is kind of a full video, so exactly what I do when I do the wrapping, what I do when I do anything else with it, a little bit of stuff behind manga, because you will hear a lot of different stuff from different people, and not everybody knows just that, manga. Some people think that manga is different than a regular book, and it's really not. The ink in it does do different stuff because, the ink will fade or kind of blurge out different stuff. So there are different things that can happen. But in the long run, that's a lot of stuff, so you can look forward to that. Maybe go and look at your oldest volume compared to your newest volume and how it's aged a little bit, and just kind of see and tell the differences of that. But, so anyway, though, there's not really that much more, unless I continue to beat a dead horse, as far as it goes on wrapping or any of that other stuff, and sizes of your wrapping. So, but good stuff though. I like the fact that I'm wrapping mine up. The only bad thing is when I have to get to the point where I need to cut them back open, it's a little bit of a pain if I want to go back and reread something, or somebody else that comes along later on wants to go in and read one of them. It's going to be a pain because they're going to have to cut it open and then most likely get it to the point where you can slide it back in. Maybe by then we'll have, if you've seen Cat Dog, where he had the action figures and had them in the big vault underneath their house, or in the little dog house that they had beside their house. Maybe we'll have something like that where it'll all be, behind glass and everything, where I won't have to worry about any of my stuff kind of touching any of that, and I can just leave them there. Or maybe it'll kind of, every book will kind of get dissected where you can go read it underneath a screen like newspaper articles sometimes, so a lot of different ideas there. You never know. So, but as I said, good stuff, guys. All my stuff comes from BCW. Go over and watch Shin Megami's videos. He gets his somewhere else. If you're gonna store yours on a shelf where you still want to be able to pull it out and open the book, I would recommend those highly, even though I don't have any of them. Watching his, I believe there's been 3 or 4 videos where he showed different ones like that. If you're going to do it that way, it's good. This one, if you're going to seal them up and all that other stuff, is a good way of doing it too. It does put a little more thickness on the top back of the book and the sides, but not that much more. So, I mean, it's all up to you how you want to wrap your books and do anything like that. So, but yeah, go watch Shin Megami's videos on those. I believe in the very first one that he posted of those, which is like, oh, my wrapping videos or something. He actually tells you where you can buy them and puts links and stuff on that. You know, but he gets his, I believe, from over in Japan, maybe. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm sure he'll comment down below at some point after I post this video, so you can be on the lookout for that. But anyway, I mean, that's really it. You know, I still got a lot of manga to wrap. Hopefully, I've done like my first 1,000 volumes. You know, besides all the new ones I have flooding in. You know, I'm sure here soon at some point, you know, hopefully next week, we will have, we'll have another manga haul video. I believe that'll be like the 4th one for this month. So a lot of good stuff though, guys. As I've said before, you know, and we'll just have to figure out where everything is going from there, you know, and kind of wait on these publishers to give us more great content like they usually do. So anyway, though, I will catch you guys later. I'm Jen Graves, and sure, I'll be your friendly neighborhood superhero. So anyway, I will catch you guys later in another video. Stay tuned for more to come. I am getting very, very close to my 400th video. I'm short just a little bit on it, so hopefully here soon I can hit the ground running and catch up and do my 400th video and continue onward to my 500th video, and then we're going to take it easy just a little bit. Not too easy, because I know y'all like all this content that I put out most of the time, especially for us just being in my 5th month of being on YouTube. As I tell y'all all the time, y'all are great subscribers. We are almost up to 200 subscribers, so hopefully I can get more of y'all. Hopefully, if you are a manga tuber or anything else, you will recommend my page or videos to somebody. I am trying to put out a couple of different kinds of content on there. That way all of you can enjoy that, as well as a little bit of my life, the life of Jen Graves, or Jacob, however you want to see me. And we can move forward. So anyway, like I said before, I'm Jen Graves. I'll see you later in another video. I totally just blanked. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm Jen Graves. I'll catch you in another video. Bye.